I always like to describe myself as a jagoff pothead comedian, and decided to start doing a show that focused on the news about, I don't know, 12 years ago, after I had a Comedy Central special in the United States. And the Pacifica Radio offered me a national radio show after that aired. And I started doing a show that was kind of more, that was more politically orientated about, and used comedy. So, so I'm just a political comedian, and a show that got popular because it turned out that it's way easier to do better reporting on news events than the corporate news. And, in 1996, Bill Clinton helped usher through the Telecommunications Act, which deregulated our media in the United States. We used to have 50 giant media companies, and now we only have about 5 or 6, depending on how you count. And so everybody works for basically the same company. There's only a handful of people who control the flow of information. And so the news now is seen for the propaganda that it is. Before, they used to hide it better. You used to get more truth through, and now it's almost never. So I think that's what's led to the popularity of my show, a combination of, well, basically it's just what a shit job the corporate news does. So yeah, so I still refer to myself as a jagoff pothead comedian. And I'm an outsider. And I think that's why, the reason why I'm able to come into this news space and do way better journalism than 99% of the journalists in the United States is because I'm not beholden to anybody. I'm not looking for a job inside the field. I'm not looking. I've already was successful in another field that I spent 25 years in. I had 2 Comedy Central specials. I had a book published. I headlined everywhere from coast to coast, and been invited to all the major festivals. So I had achieved in that. I got all the ego strokes that I needed. I got it in comedy. And so when I came into this, I just call it, it feels grandiose to refer to myself as a journalist, but all journalism is, as was pointed out to me on my show by Greg, I'm blanking on his last name for Christ's sake. Anyway, he told me all reporting is, all journalism is peeking your head down the street and seeing what's going on and then reporting it back. That's all it really is. And so we're all capable of doing that. And so I'm proving that. It doesn't take much. Why is it that if you go to the Intercept and you want to find out what's going on in Syria, you can't. They're not going to tell you what's going on. Why is it that my reports on pothead comedians' reports about Syria are much, much better than the Intercepts or the New York Times or the MSNBC, CNN? Why is that? It's because they're bought to not tell you the truth. You read Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky, and he wrote that book right before there was this amazing media consolidation. So what he said then is even more true now today, and in spades and steroids, or however you want to put it, whatever cliche you want to use. So that's the world we're living in, and I think I've been elevated because I point out things that are obvious. That hey, if you get elected to Congress, you should maybe fight for the things you said you were going to run on, that you weren't going to do. Maybe you should do what you said you were going to do. And if you do that now, there's a whole media apparatus that's built to defend politicians, left and right. I just went up against it on the Democratic Party, and they'll try to smear you, squash you, and dismiss you when you're just pointing out that the things that they promised to do in their campaign commercial a month ago. So, and again, all the journalists are trying to look, they all are looking over their shoulder, like, where am I going to get my next job? Because there's not that many jobs in journalism anymore, which is why journalism sucks. I have had corporations offer to give me a television show, and I said no.